everybody. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Building Wise Families podcast. We are going to be answering the question today of how do I discipline with wisdom? And so to help us answer that question, we have Chad Henge with us. Chad has spent over 25 years ministering to kids and families as a licensed marriage and family therapist, as a certified life coach, a speaker, and a podcaster. He's been married for over 25 years and has 3 daughters. Chad loves asking significant questions, bringing God's grace and truth to life, and helping parents have aha moments in coaching sessions and workshops. He's helped thousands of parents learn to be more peaceful, purposeful, and confident.
And we are 2 of those thousands of parents that Chad has helped. He was our parent coach when we first did parent coaching through Connected Families. And now he's our friend and an ongoing mentor. So Chad, we're just so excited to have you on the podcast today.
Oh my goodness, this is super exciting. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, so if we're going to answer the question, how do I discipline with wisdom? It makes sense to me that the first question is, what is discipline?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's important to recognize that the root word in the Latin of discipline really means to teach or to learn, right? And so if we're thinking about discipline with our kids, we're thinking through the lens of how do we best teach them? How do we grow them in their learning? And so, verses that typically parents will go to in Scripture around kind of teaching or discipline. Ephesians 6, 1-4 is pretty common, where it talks about just, children, obey your parents in the Lord. This is right. Honor your father and mother. It's the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on the earth. And then fathers, don't exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. So, that training and instruction of the Lord is really the context here of we need to discipline our kids. We need to teach them, the ways of the Lord. And oftentimes parents can get hung up on the first 3 verses, which are really directed at their kids, right? They're directed at kids, children, obey your parents. And the 4th verse is the one that as parents, I think we're going to be held accountable for. So how did we go about training and instructing our kids without exasperating them, without creating an angry response towards us, I think is one of the big questions. And throughout all of that, we're making disciples, right? I mean, the discipline, the training that we're wanting to bring to our kids is about disciple making, because we want our kids to grow and learn and follow in the faith. So, short answer, discipline means to teach.
Yeah, I think that is just such a fuller picture than what we're usually presented as parents. I think we usually hear this message of, I just need to discipline my kids better. I know I've said it, I've heard other parents say it, and that just kind of sounds like I need to correct their behavior.
Means I need to stop them from doing this.
Yeah, and, dish out whatever kind of thing will help stop that behavior. So I'm just curious, did you kind of come to this understanding through your work with Connected Families or through parenting your own now grown daughters? How did you come to that understanding of discipline?
Yeah, it's not something that I grew up with. Wasn't parented necessarily in that framework of thinking more broadly and maybe holistically about discipline. And I can identify with when you say, just get the behavior to stop and knock it off, leave it alone. Why'd you hit her? You don't do that again. Just these kind of blurting outs of instructions that I would receive. And so that's pretty naturally how I went about it. And we had a super compliant firstborn. And so it seemed like everything was working great, just knock it off, knocked it off, right? And kind of a pleaser-oriented sort of kid. But then our second daughter was not so much like that, was far more into, maybe challenging. That's how I would have seen it, just challenging me, and that wasn't okay. And so my goal was to kind of stomp that out and make her behave. I felt like the first 8 to 10 years of my parenting, my primary job was to make my kids behave. And I spent a lot of time trying to make my kids behave. And so I think that just recognizing that as I demanded right behavior, I was sacrificing relationship. Like I could get my kids to do what I wanted them to do, kind of by my bigness, my intimidation, my loudness, my threats. But at the end of the day, I didn't have a relationship anymore. And so there was a kind of a point in time where I was teaching a parenting class just coming right out of graduate school, and I was teaching it at my home church. And, teaching parenting class at your home church, that's already got a little bit of risk to it. But everybody had said after the class how great of a job I did, and it was just really helpful and all the stuff. And then I look down the hall as I come out of the room, and I see my daughter running, chasing a friend, and she runs into the pastor who's got a hot cup of coffee in his hand. And, I don't know if you've had this, but kind of that slowed down Holy Spirit moment, like it's 5 minutes of a conversation, but it happens in a snap, where it's like the Holy Spirit just says, what are you worried about right now? And I'm thinking, and it's like, it's not about somebody being hurt or hot coffee burning somebody. Somebody's going to ask, whose kid is that? And I'm going to say, and they're going to say, well, it's the guy teaching the parenting course down the hall. That's his kid. Okay? And it was like this first moment in my life where I thought, I need my kids to behave well so I can look good. And that was a journey of starting out thinking through, that's a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility for my kids to have. They look good, so I look good. And I came across a while later, 1 Thessalonians 2:11 and 12. I'd never read these verses, at least through a parenting perspective, but the Apostle Paul says, and we dealt with you like a father deals with his own children. Right? It's like, oh, hey, listen up. He's going to say something about how dads deal with their kids. And the three words that he used to describe his fathering of the church in Thessalonica, he says, encouraging, comforting, and urging you to live lives worthy of the gospel of God. And I started to look through that lens. Is my parenting encouraging to my kids? Is it comforting to my kids? And is it urging them to live a life worthy of the gospel of God? So that was, kind of the beginning for me of saying, I think I need to shift this up a little bit, because I could just feel a chasm growing in relationship with my kids, and putting a weight of expectation on them that was really about me, not about my kids.
Yeah. Wow. So it's like you were kind of recognizing your own motivation in that, and how it wasn't lining up with God's heart for discipline and what he wanted you to do as a father.
Yeah. And it was ugly. Hey, I mean, you go, hold on a second. Yuck. I would rather not look at this. I just want my kids to behave well, so I don't have to deal with these things. Right? That's just that tone of, why do I have to look at this? And actually, our kids are a great sanctification agent used by God in our lives, right? We just start going, I'm really selfish. I am really unkind at times, or, whatever it might be, immature. And the Lord starts working in our hearts if we'll allow him to say, hey, we need to refine that a little bit.
So what I hear is, on one hand, we've got exasperating our children, like the verse in Ephesians says, where you're thinking in that scenario, you're thinking, I'm primarily worried about how my child is reflecting on me. And so maybe I start yelling at my child, and shame or blame. But then on the other hand, the words comforting, encouraging, urging, I don't really hear correction in there. Like, as parents, we still have to correct our children, right? So what does that look like? Yeah. I think that's most parents tend to want to start with correction as the conversation point. Okay, people don't come to me
typically as a parent coach saying, we just really want to have stronger connection with our kids, right? I've got some internal work I need to do and I know it. So let's do that work, right? They're coming and they're asking a question, either what do I do to get my kid to stop doing this thing? Or what do I do to get my kid to start doing that other thing? And those are really important questions. And I don't want to dismiss those at all. But if we start there, we tend to just move into behavior modification mode. Like I went to graduate school, master's in counseling psychology. I can give parents tips and tricks to manipulate their kid for a few weeks to get the right behavior, but it doesn't last long term. But you're right, we need to discipline. And when we think about discipline, we're thinking about what are our kids learning from us? What do we want them to learn? What are we trying to teach them? And at Connected Families, we spend a lot of time talking about consequences that actually build wisdom, not consequences that are just punitive that say, in essence, I hope you hurt so badly you never want to do that again, right? But actually consequences that build wisdom in our kids. And that really comes out of Luke 119, where Zechariah the priest is seeing Gabriel, the angel, coming and delivering the news that John the Baptist is going to be born. And Gabriel starts quoting Malachi 4:6, and he will turn the hearts of the parents to their children and the hearts of the children to their parents, or I'll strike the land with a curse. Right? That's the last word spoken in the Old Testament. And here Gabriel is quoting it to Zechariah, and he says, he'll come in, as Elijah, talking about in the spirit and the power of Elijah, and he will turn the hearts of the parents to the kids, it says. But he doesn't say, that the kids to the parents. He says, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous. Now, if there's ever a point in Scripture where it would be really great if you just said, we're going to make disobedient people obedient people, that'd be a good place for it. Okay, but he actually says, I'm going to turn the disobedient into the wisdom of the righteous. Okay, so that's an interesting shift to look through the lens of, we're going to talk about disobedient kids through the lens of wisdom building towards righteousness.
Man, that is it kind of shakes up my paradigm when I think about discipline. Like we said before, we think about correction. How do we make our kids do what we want them to do? So it's really a shift to think about building wisdom in our kids and not just making them behave the correct way.
Yeah, and a conviction for me in that was that I was wanting my kids to behave well so my life would be easier. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like, why are you doing that again? Like, you're an inconvenience to me right now. So behave well so I'm not inconvenienced by you. And that's just saying it out loud makes it feel so yuck, right? But that was the reality for me. And it still can be my reality, that I can get into that mode of exasperation of what in the world? Why are we talking about this again? Right? Because this is inconvenient. So, that's where at Connected Families, we talk a lot about messaging, like what messages our kids are receiving from us. And our kids are usually pretty intuitive about that, about what they're receiving from us.
I feel like it's very theoretical, but how do we do this on a practical level? Like when we've got 3 toddlers running around screaming, how do we actually not say, this is so inconvenient, this is so annoying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. I think part of it is recognizing that that's in that example of 3 toddlers running around, like that's the stage of life that we're in. And oftentimes parents act surprised by things that they know they're going to see. It's like the best predictor of the future is the past. And so if the past has been wild and crazy for the last 8 months, right? And today you're waking up thinking it's going to be different, that's kind of on us as parents. Like, hey, this is going to happen again. And then the question is, what are we going to do? How are we going to respond in a way that thinking and responding differently over time, that 6 months from now, we're going to be at a different place. But it takes a thoughtfulness about that as well. And, I would love to, one of the things we do at Connected Families a lot is we do role plays, and we just try to take what we're talking about in the theoretical and place it into practical. Like, what words would be coming out of my mouth when, my kids are screaming over screens or not picking up after themselves or, hitting each other or whatever it might be. So I don't know. Is that something that you would be open or interested in just trying to play out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Definitely.
Do you have a situation? I'm sure you've heard other parents who have kids that,
Yeah, maybe
but
hypothetically.
hypothetically, right? Yeah. What's a common scenario that you think your listeners would be able to relate to, and that maybe you have some experience with as well?
I'm thinking probably the most stressful to me is when there's 2 or 3 people needing me at once.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not always just fighting about a toy, but it's that there's a meltdown. So maybe it could be just 2 people. I won't put all 3 of my kids on you, but maybe 2 of my kids are melting down at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already stressed about that.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be an okay starting place?
So what would precipitate the meltdown?
My markers are running out of ink, and
Okay.
I'm really frustrated because I want to draw.
Okay, so your markers are running out of ink, and then Corey's what's going on with you that's going to intersect that?
Well, I want to use the markers as well. So
Okay.
I guess it is a little bit like a fight about the thing, but each person might have their own internal struggle about it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's do that. And I'd like to engage with you, if it's okay, just kind of through the at least the most default and natural way for me, which is going to be maybe a little bit more typical of how I think and what I hear in terms of parents engaging in this kind of a situation. And I'd really like for kind of the listeners to think through the lens of, as a parent, so I'm going to engage with both of you here. As a parent, what are my goals? Okay, like what am I trying to teach here? And then secondly, what messages are you as kids receiving from me that would begin with the words, you are blank. Child, you are blank. All right, so let's do that. And what am I doing as a parent? So am I in the same room? This is at the kitchen table or something.
I'm thinking that the marker situation, the kids are at the kitchen table and you are maybe at the kitchen island getting some food ready.
Okay, so there's some food prep going on, which is always the best time for this stuff to happen. So nobody's hungry right now, bellies are full, right? So there's some things happening here. Okay, and so I'm preparing, and we're hurrying and trying to get things going, and then you two kind of go after it. So go for it.
Dad, my marker ran out of ink, and I can't draw, and I really need this color.
And he's not letting me use the markers.
Because I need this color.
Well, okay. I want it. I don't care if it's drying out. I just want to use it.
Okay, just stop. Just stop it.
Ink, though.
But I need it.
I really need
Okay, I can't help you right now. I'm making dinner. I'm not
going to be able to finish.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take it anyway.
Don't touch that.
Oh my goodness. You two, if you cannot get along, I'm going to take those markers and I'm going to put them away. All right. So can you get along?
Don't take my markers away.
Yep. I'm going to put them away. This is enough. I'm
going to take this back.
Oh. No, it's mine. No, I'm going to.
You can't take it. You two are doing this.
Don't
you need
take
to learn to get along.
I don't want to get along with him. He's mean.
Well, that's not okay. You don't talk like that. You need to stop it right now. Give me those markers. Just give them to me.
I just want my markers. I just want to color. All I want to do is color this.
I know. You need to learn how to be respectful with each other. And maybe if you put the lids back on the markers, maybe the markers would last a little bit longer. I've told you that 100 times. So you need to become more responsible here.
It's his fault.
Oh,
he
my
always
fault.
does that.
Okay, stop it. Why don't you just go to your room? Just go to your room. Go to your room right now. I'll call you when dinner's ready. Okay, so you want to stop there?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So when you think about like the goals, what was I wanting to teach you? And I don't know if you were listening through that lens. You were doing the really good job of bickering back and forth. That was impressive.
I was a little worked up about my marker.
Yes. But I did say a couple of things that I wanted. I wanted you to get along, and I wanted you to be responsible. Okay. And one of the things that I see so regularly with parents is as parents, we have good goals, right? It's just our intentions are good. There was nothing in my heart about connecting with you in that regard that I wanted something bad for you. I wanted good things to happen, right? But as kids, what messages did you receive from me? That might begin with the words, "Child, you are blank."
I think maybe, "Child, you are annoying," or frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Child, you are broken.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of kept saying, "You need to stop this. You need to fix this."
Yes.
Or "You're irresponsible,"
Yep.
because I didn't help put the lids on the markers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're irresponsible, and then I'm worked up here. And I think there's a subtle message that kids receive from us as parents when we're angry, along the lines of, "Child, you're in control of my emotions." Like, I wouldn't be so angry right now if you were doing what you were supposed to be doing. Therefore, it's kind of in some way your responsibility to manage and regulate my emotions, which we don't think about it like that sometimes. But I think that's kind of an underlying statement that is true there. So, yeah, I mean, those messages, you're an irritant, you're an inconvenience, you're mean, you're naughty, you're irresponsible, you're out of control, you're exasperating, all of those things I think can kind of flow out of us. But we've got, good goals, and we've got messages that aren't the ones that we're like going, "Yeah, that's the message we really hope our kids get from us." No parents really set out on that course, but we just don't know what else to do sometimes.
Yeah. And it was almost like an opposing message. You wanted to teach. Your goal was, well, one of them, that you wanted to teach responsibility. And instead, as a child, I think I just would have felt like ashamed about how irresponsible that I am.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I've not equipped you with any tools, right? All I've done is said, "Don't be that." And as a kiddo, you're going, "Okay, but I don't really know. How do you be something else, right? Help me out here." And I'm not really giving any equipping of that. And, there's that disconnect between good goals and poor messaging. And I think the primary disconnect is oftentimes parents coming from a place of fear and anxiety, like thinking things like, if we don't get this thing figured out pretty soon, these kids are never going to have a good relationship, or they're never going to be able to have a job or keep a room clean or leave our house, and we start kind of catastrophizing a negative future, which tends to create more control from parents. Like, we have to stop this right now. And typically, the more controlling we become, the less helpful we become for our kids.
Okay, I can really identify with that control. So you mentioned that maybe our kids didn't have the tools yet. I know at Connected Families, you guys teach a framework for viewing every parenting interaction. Can you kind of help walk us through tools that we could have too as a parent, not just for our kids? Like, how would we even go about a better way?
Yeah, it's one of the great privileges that I have, and I think at Connected Families, and you all have as well. Just coming alongside of parents who are like, we don't know what else to do, right? And so this framework, I think, gives a roadmap, kind of a game plan, because I referenced it earlier. Like, we know it's going to happen. Right? We know what's coming in the next day, or at least the next week, with our kids, because we've paid attention. But let's develop a game plan about how we might engage that a little bit differently. And so at Connected Families, we talk about 4 messages that we want our kids to receive from us in discipline situations where there's behavior challenges, perhaps. And the first message is the message, child, you're safe with me. And really, you're safe with me is about being emotionally, physically, spiritually safe. So our kids experience us in that way. And there's a question that I ask myself here that I think is super helpful. And along the lines of, can I be okay even if my child's behavior is not okay? Or do I need my child to behave well in order for me to be okay? If our value comes from Jesus, and it's a settled issue, if you read Ephesians chapters 1 and 2, you'll find probably about 25 to 27 you are statements about who we are in Christ. And it's not conditional, not even based on how our kids behave. Okay, these are settled issues. You're chosen, you're holy, you're dearly loved, you're forgiven, you're redeemed. All of it's true, whether your kids are behaving perfectly or whether they are off the rails right now. Okay, so when I can come from a place of knowing my identity, it's secure, then I can engage with my kids in a way that's going to be helpful for them. And so that first message, you're safe with me. Next message, you're loved no matter what. Okay, child, my love for you doesn't rise when you behave well, doesn't fall when you behave poorly. It is as best as I can do it. The Romans 5:8 kind of love. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 8:38 and 39. There's nothing you're going to do to separate, yourself from God's love. I want to model that for my kids. All right. So those first two messages, you're safe and you're loved. We call those the messages of grace. Okay. We all need a nest of grace to fall back into when we blow it. Then the third message, child, you are called and capable. You're called to be a blessing. You're capable of using your good gifts to bless other people, to bring glory to God. And that really causes us to look through the lens of what we call the gift gone awry, that behind most misbehavior, there's a God-given talent being used, just oftentimes used sinfully or selfishly, and usually immaturely, right? It's just an immaturity. And so we start looking through the lens of an argumentative kiddo and we go, you need to stop that, right? You don't backtalk to me. Hey, I might engage with that a little differently. I might say something like, wow, you really know what you want, right? You're really good at telling me. How you're telling me right now, that's not very helpful. Okay, it's not going to get you what you want, but I'm starting to call out a gift. You know what you want. Okay, you're really honest. You're super direct. Those are things I appreciate about my kids. Okay, and then we move into that fourth message, child, you're responsible for your actions. And that's where most parents want to start, right? I know I do. It's like, all right, we finally got to the good stuff here. What do we do to get our kids to behave, right? And then our kids need consequences at times to learn a lesson. We tend to undermine the potency of the consequence when we're angry when we give it, okay? Or when we're just punitive and short-tempered with that. It's like, okay, that's enough. You're not watching TV ever. You're never going to eat again. And you're never going, we just got to give these big, we're angry, we say things. And that loses the potency of that consequence. But we talk about wisdom-building consequences, make it right consequences, do-overs, lose the privilege consequences, that over time help build wisdom in our kids.
Okay, let's go back and do the role play again.
Okay.
But then let's do it the way that you're saying, going through that framework. Mm-hmm. Let's see what that would look like. Because I feel like we're still, all that stuff sounds really great, but in the moment, I'm going to have a lot of trouble doing that.
Yes. Yep. So let's do it. And I'm going to engage you a little differently. And since we're on audio here and not in the same place, I'm going to have to speak some of what is going on in my mind and say some things in terms of what my posture looks like and things like that. But let's play it out. So I'm in the kitchen and you're at the dining room table, and I'm chopping up my vegetables or whatever I'm doing, and you kind of go after it.
Okay. Dad, my marker ran out of ink.
Hey, give me that marker. I was using that.
Don't take that. I was using it. It doesn't even work anyway.
Well, I don't care. I want to use it. I don't mind.
Want to color.
Why are you complaining so much?
I'm taking a breath here. I'm walking over towards you. Okay, so I'm just taking a deep breath. You're squabbling, and I'm taking a breath, and I'm sitting down at the table with you right now. Okay, and I'm going to say to you, whoa, hey, what's going on here, kids?
He won't let me use this marker, Dad.
The marker ran out of ink and then she took it from me.
Oh my goodness!
I did not take it. I was using it first.
You jerked it right out of my hand.
Wow, it sounds like you've got a big disagreement here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it
but he
sounds like-
started it.
Yeah.
Jerked it out of my hand.
Yes. Yeah, it's hard, right? So it sounds like you're running out of ink, and maybe the cap got left off the marker, and now
Yeah.
you want to each have this.
That was his fault.
Yeah, I know. It's easy to point fingers, isn't it? It's super frustrating. So, what do you want to do? Do you need some help solving this, or do you think you can figure it out yourself?
I just want to finish coloring my paper, but I need ink in my marker.
I just want to use that marker.
Yeah, you both know what you want, don't you?
Yes, and he's not giving it to me. He keeps taking it.
Stop.
This is what you call a conflict, isn't it? You're having a hard time. That's okay. We sometimes have hard times, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what did we say about the marker and about fighting over it and not being able to share? Have we had conversations about this before? What would happen if we kind of got into a big argument about that?
I don't know.
Not
You've
remembering.
said that we have to take a break from the markers till we can figure it out.
Oh, we talked about that, didn't we?
I don't want to take a break. It wasn't my fault.
It wasn't my fault either.
Yeah. It sounds like probably taking a break might be a good idea, not because I'm mad at you or because, I don't want you to finish your project here, but we have said that until we can calm ourselves down, whatever comes out of our mouth probably isn't going to be very helpful, right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do y'all want to do to calm down so we can come back and solve this?
I'd like to draw with that marker.
Yeah, I know you would. So would you like to go swing, or would you like to go ride your bike real quick? Or I'll just set a timer for 5 minutes. And why don't you do whatever you need to do to get yourself calmed down? We'll leave the markers right here. And then we'll see if we can get something figured out. How's that?
Can you read a book to me?
Yeah, that would be good. I would like to read a book to you. What am I doing, though, over here? Do you remember what I was doing?
Making lunch.
Yes. So when would you like to read a book? We could do it maybe after lunch.
Okay.
You good with that? All right. You two are you're gonna get this figured out. I know it's super frustrating. It's hard, but you're growing. You're getting it. I know you will. What was that?
That was me walking off.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So we can come back to it if we want to have that conversation when they come back a little bit calmer. But what was that like for you in terms of just being in terms of messages like received?
It didn't feel like you were against us. It felt like you really were helping us instead of escalating the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you didn't lecture us or scold us. So I appreciated just being gently reminded about what did we talk about. I know I've used that in a harsh tone before. What have we talked about?
Mm-hmm.
But we could tell that you were doing it from just we were capable of answering that question and of remembering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, you start thinking through you're safe with me. And I came over, I'm telling you, I'm taking a breath. I might even whisper a prayer. God, would you give me your grace here for these struggling kiddos, right? I postured myself. I sat down at the dining room table. I didn't come and stand over top of you. Okay, we talk about that, just kind of this slow, low, and listen posture as opposed to fast, large, and loud. And so, you're loved no matter what. Let's try to affirm both of you, right? Empathy. It's so hard, isn't it, right? When you run out of ink or you can't use the same marker, you both want the same one. I mean, that's like empathy is just understanding somebody. It doesn't mean I agree with them. Okay. And when I'm asking you a question, like, what did we say? That's coaching. Okay? That's your called and you're capable. It's like you're called to bless and you're capable of remembering. I don't have to treat you as somebody who doesn't remember. We've already talked about this. What do you know about this? Is a really good kind of coach sort of question to build capability. And Corey, you knew right away. Alan, you may have known, but you dodged the question, right? Which is pretty typical. I would expect that somebody would be like, I don't know, or just blame somebody else or whatever. So, and then responsible, we'll see, right? Maybe the markers are off the table for a few days if we can't figure it out, or if things get really hostile or heated or angry things are spoken or whatever. But that's just not my first go-to here. And even if they are off the table, how it happens, it's probably more along the lines of, oh my goodness, you two are really struggling with this. And I think the markers are going to need to take a little bit of a timeout, because it seems like maybe you're caring too much about the markers and not so much about each other. And so we're going to take a time out with the markers for a couple days. And as you two figure this stuff out, they'll come back, right? And you'll get it. You'll get another chance at working through and cooperating with the markers. But for now, that's okay. You'll get it. You'll get it figured out. But they're going to just take a little time out. So that consequence is still, I'm delivering it. And the real eye-opener for me is that when I recognize that I could be both firm and kind as a parent, that was shocking to me. I just thought I had to be firm all the time, like kind of angry tone and matter of fact and in a hurry and all the stuff. But I can deliver a consequence in a kind way, and that actually lands on our kids differently.
Chad, I'm curious, if we imagine this is like a time travel movie and you're going back in time to your old self before you learned a new way of parenting, and you didn't learn the new way, you just stuck with what you'd been doing. Maybe your kids turn out fine, just like a lot of kids turn out just fine. Mm-hmm. But what do you think would be different? What do you think the new future would have held?
Yeah, that's a good one. My oldest daughter was naturally compliant. And I think naturally compliant kids tend to, they look like they've kind of got it all together. They play the part, but it's super easy to start getting your value when you're really compliant from your compliance, from your obedience, from your righteousness, your own self-righteousness. And so I think it would be easy to see the potential of a little bit of Pharisaic traits, okay, with the kind of the oldest brother in the prodigal son story of, look, I've done all these things right, so I think that self-righteous piece could flow out of that with one of our kids. I think maybe the one who didn't care so much what the parents thought, didn't really care about pleasing all that much. That one seems like seeing the chasm growing in relationship was far easier. But I think that demanding that right behavior, because that's what I would have kept doing, is you need to listen, you need to obey, you need to do what I tell you to do. Okay, without any self-evaluation or checking my own motives or any of that stuff. Okay, that turns into me, in essence, saying, you're a problem, child. Okay, because I made it very clear early on that I had done everything I was supposed. I told my child not to run in church. I told them to, it's like I wanted to make sure everybody knew. I told her it's not me. It's not my problem. It's not my fault. She's a disobedient, out of control kid. It's not me. Everybody think good of me. Okay, and I was just looking at blaming them. It's like, it's her problem. It's her fault. Okay, and you just play that identity out long enough, and you get a kid who says, fine. Okay, you think I'm an embarrassment to you right now? Watch this. Okay, and so, yeah, I think that softening for me, thinking through the lens of what I talked about earlier, the gift gone awry, I started to become more hopeful. Be like, oh man, this girl's loaded with gifts. They're just used in crazy ways, selfish ways, immature ways. And I started to look through the lens of, I wonder what would happen if she started using these gifts in amazing ways. And I started to call those things out. So I don't know. In short, I think that the oldest would move toward a Pharisaic kind of view of the world, and I kind of deserve to be loved. And the middle would probably be like, forget it. I don't care. I'm not getting in your box. And if that's what you think I am, is out of control and mean and impulsive, and then that's what I'll be. And I probably wouldn't have a relationship there.
Yeah, I would just echo what you said about changing kind of how we are as a parent. I think Alan and I have become more hopeful going through these messages of grace and accountability. This framework gives us a way to approach every discipline situation with those things in mind. So I agree. Just, I think we went into it hoping that we would get better behavior, but yes, our behavior became a little bit better, but it was because our beliefs were really transformed. And then when we were letting go of some of that control and worry about the future, we can be more hopeful parents who can lead our children better in truth and in grace and with wisdom.
Yeah, and I just want to say maybe two things to a couple different parents. One, the parent who's like, no, that's way too soft. No way. That sounds pretty wimpy to me. Okay, your authority does not come through your bigness or your loudness or your meanness or your anger or your control. Okay, actually, I believe that your authority comes through your kindness and your calmness and your hopefulness and your encouragement. Okay, it doesn't mean that we don't hold our kids accountable. My kids would never tell you that I'm a pushover dad. Okay, but what I understood was that I could hold them accountable and still be kind to them. Okay, it's Romans 2:4 says that it's God's kindness that leads us to repentance. It's not a big bony finger in our face saying, you better knock it off. And if you don't, you're going to be in big trouble. It's like, I don't deserve such kindness. I don't deserve it. And yet God is so kind to me that it turns me into a place of repentance. Like, God, I am so sorry. Right. And so that accountability is so important. So I want to make sure people hear that loudly and clearly. This is not about letting kids off the hook. Not at all. Okay. And I also want to recognize that if you're coming to this place and you're going, man, I have blown it. I don't have a relationship with my kids, or I can just feel it. It's just separating. I'm just so demanding and all the stuff. Okay. There is so much hope. There's just so much hope for us to be able to go, hold on a second, I can humble myself. I think our kids respond to humility when we're able to say, you know what, I've not been doing things in a way that I'm very proud of, or I'd like to make some changes, and I'm going to be working on those things. Okay, that we can receive God's forgiveness for us, that we can push through that and recognize that God's with us, He's for us, and that we can make changes. And I think that's really important for our kids to see, that even their parents, as old and ancient as their parents are, they're still working and making some changes and doing some things differently and growing in God's grace and truth for their life. And so wherever you find yourself on that parenting spectrum, or just recognize that God is with you, He's for you, He will guide you, and that this framework has been so impactful to so many people about giving some ideas about how to move forward and discipling, teaching our kids, raising them up to know God, love God, and to use their gifts to bless and honor other people.
I wonder if you have a story or a time when you can remember of like, man, I put all this stuff together and this is what I got out of it, where before it would have been like this, but now it was like this.
Yeah, I don't know if this fits, but I remember one of the first nights I laid my head on the pillow at night and I thought, today I was the parent that I wanted to be. And it wasn't like everything went really well, but my response to the chaos and the struggle was informed by the framework. And so I would go to bed at night thinking, was I safe today? Did my kids experience me as emotionally, physically, spiritually safe? Okay, did I model well for them? Right? And thinking through and asking, do they know that I love them no matter what? Did I communicate that with them? Was I empathetic and caring for them? Did I hold them accountable? Like, did I affirm their gifts first? You're called and capable, but did I affirm their gifts? Did I call out the good stuff that I'm seeing working in them and train them and even give them some skills to do some things differently? Okay, and then did I hold them accountable in ways that built wisdom in them? Okay, and even though my kids might not have responded in great ways to those efforts, especially at first, okay, the fact that I could lay my head on the pillow and go, I was respectable today. And I think I could respect myself, and I think my kids could actually respect me too. That gave me enough momentum to go, I don't know what's going to happen with my kids, but I want to parent more like this, and I want to grow in this.
That would be nice to be able to lay your head on the pillow every night and feel confident that you were the parent you wanted to be.
Yeah, and I didn't say every night. I said the first night, right? The first night I laid my head on the pillow and I was like, wow. Okay, it doesn't mean I did it every night, but it does mean that it was like a wedding of the appetite where you're like, oh man, I want to do that more. What do I need to do to get myself under control so I can model well for my kids what it looks like to be under control when you're upset? Okay, kids, I need to take a break here. I'm starting to get really angry. I'm going to do 10 push-ups. You want to join me? Okay, I mean, just things that we're modeling for my kids.
Yeah. I know that in the Connected Families Discipline That Connects with Your Child's Heart online course, you take this framework and then you use some of those things that you've been telling us about. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that course is and let our parents know who are listening to this, just what to expect if they want more help with some of these ideas that you've been mentioning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the online course is really takes these 4 messages that we've talked about, unpacks them in 8 sessions of about 30 minutes each session. And then twice a year it's offered, so October and February typically, where we moderate that course, and there's several hundred parents going through the course together and writing their comments, and there's between sessions kinds of things to consider and work on, but it's laid out in a really simple way, but role plays, examples, testimonials from parents who have worked through these 4 messages and have been working on that with their own families. So taking it kind of in community like that is also really cool because you get to engage with other parents. You're like, oh my goodness, that's a great question. I want to know more about that. And we also do some what we call live Q&As throughout the session where a staff person from Connected Families jumps on a live Zoom and hears questions from other parents and starts to interact with those in a way that puts some more context to what we're talking about. So, y'all have read or led a number of people through the Discipline That Connects online course as well. So it's available in small group format and fashion as well. So, what stands out to you about the course?
Yeah, I have loved going through the Discipline That Connects course. I feel like I've really learned how to communicate the messages of the framework. You are safe with me. You are loved no matter what. You are called and capable, and you're responsible for your actions. Just with some really practical tools of how to actually communicate those. And I love the community aspect too. I think it is really helpful to learn these things together, to know that I'm not the only one going through this, that there's other parents who might have similar struggles and who are learning together with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the the role plays that we do in the course. One of the things we work really hard at with Connected Families or at Connected Families is just making it practical, right? If you can't land this theoretical ship in your, plane in your home, then it really is meaningless. It's not very helpful. And so one of the great things about parent coaching, and as y'all are parent coaches, helping parents take what we're talking about and make it practical in their home. Like, what would be coming out of my mouth, right? We all have scripts. And the scripts that I have were knock it off, leave it alone. What are you doing? Get down from there, go to bed, stay in bed, you brush your teeth, all the stuff. And so replacing some of that, but not just replacing it to manipulate our kids. The Discipline Connects online course and Discipline Connects book really are about discipline that connects with your child's heart. Okay, it's getting out of the mindset of right behavior and into the mindset of mentoring our kids' belief. What your kids believe about themselves will start showing up in how they act, what they say. Okay, so if I keep messaging to my kids, you're mean, you're naughty, you're out of control, you're an inconvenience, okay, I can expect that I'm going to see more of that. Okay, but if I start messaging to my kids, wow, you've got some intensity, and when that intensity is used well, wow, it's amazing. And right when it's not very helpful here, so let's help you use that intensity for some more helpful things as opposed to hurtful things over here. Okay, like I've got a vision for what that could look like down the road. And I think that's one of the other things that we help with. It's like, yeah, what would it look like if this misbehavior were actually used in ways that are honoring? Okay, if that stubbornness turned into determination and we started looking through the lens of when is our child really determined and when do they use it well and how do we affirm that? So anyway, I think that Lynn Jackson, co-founder of Connected Families, will oftentimes say that parents' goal, shifting it from managing behavior to mentoring belief. What does this child believe about themselves? What's true about them? And let's fan that flame.
Yeah, that's really good. From the dad's perspective, one of the things that I appreciate most about the Connected Families framework and the online course was learning how the levels of the framework are biblically based. So it gives me a picture of how God parents me. His identity isn't changed even when I sin. He loves me no matter what. He coaches me. He gives me opportunities to practice in situations where I fail, and he corrects me when I need it, but always in a loving but firm way. So knowing that gives me a solid foundation to parent my children through the framework as well.
Yeah, and because he came to us when we couldn't come to him to reconcile us to himself, we can take that same love that we've been given and let that overflow. It is a love that has a heart for reconciliation. I've loved that with the Connected Families framework. We're always pointing toward not just managing the behavior, like you said, but mentoring the belief. And we want to be in right relationship with people. I know that this framework has not only helped me with my kids, but also in my relationships with my husband, my friends and people at church, anywhere, friends and family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that, the heart of the gospel is being reconciled to God. And that when we start thinking about you're responsible for your actions, to be able to receive the forgiveness of someone else, like to apologize and say, I am sorry, and naming what we're sorry for, like what we did without justifying or blaming other people, and then receiving that forgiveness from us as parents or from a sibling, that's a picture of the gospel. It's a reconciled relationship, and it's what Jesus died for, to be reconciled to God. It's hard for parents to pass on to their kids what they have struggled receiving as well. So if you kind of have a block of like, well, I don't know, I know God loves everybody else, but I'm not sure that God could really love me. If you really knew me, God probably wouldn't, or whatever. And so if we have a hard time receiving God's grace and truth for ourselves, it'll be really hard to pass that along to our kids. And it's why we encourage parents to start with themselves. Just asking the question, hold on, what's going on inside of me and what's true about me? Asking the Lord, God, what's true about me, even when my kids are a mess? Okay, what's true about my kids, even when they're really struggling? Right, and being able to receive the truth about that. And that's one of the things that we do in the online course. It's one of the things that we do in parent coaching, is to help parents start looking through the lens of what's going on with me. And how can I understand that a little bit differently? Believe truth so that when I believe the truth, out of that will flow more of a natural love and connection with my kids. Because our beliefs and our thoughts lead to feelings and actions, right? So what you believe and think has a direct impact on what you're going to feel and then how you're going to respond or what you're going to say.
That's great. Well, Chad, I know we could talk about parenting and ask more questions, and we could probably go on for several more hours. So we'll cut it short right there, but we'll definitely have you on again. And we really appreciate you coming and sharing this with us and just helping us be better parents, learn to discipline our children with wisdom.
Yeah, I just am so excited for Building Wise Families. I mean, it is both of you kind of coming together and your story. And I can't wait for people to hear your story of how you kind of got to this place. We just bless you in your efforts. You don't have perfect kids. You're not perfect parents. You don't have a perfect family. Okay. And so I think just removing that off, it's like, oh, wow, they're doing a podcast, so they must have great, perfect kids. No, we're just sharing along the way. Like, our kids aren't perfect, and I'm not a perfect dad, and I still blow it, and all of those things. But just thank you for jumping into this arena and bringing a voice to kind of your experience and willing to partner with just your willingness to partner with other families who are looking to make those changes as well.
Thanks, Chad.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Connected Families has registration open right now during the month of September for the Discipline That Connects with Your Child's Heart online course. And the course itself will start in October. And if you want to sign up for this, you can go to our link in our show notes and use the coupon code BWF20 to get 20% off. So BWF for Building Wise Families, 20 for 20% off. It'll help y'all, it'll help us, and we really hope that you will check it out.